Well, been troubleshooting my program counter. For some reason the program counter wasn't addressing the bus, wasn't asserting the bus. So, what I did, is I removed it. Here's the program counter, and I took it out, and I replaced it with my old program counter, which happened to have the bus wired backwards. I wrote a program, and all the program does is take the contents of the program counter and display it, and then increment. So this board wasn't working. It was always giving me 0 or 1, and it was incrementing, but it wasn't asserting the bus. And the old board, even though it's backwards, is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It is counting and it's asserting the bus. So there's something wrong with this board. This is one of those boards that I laid out quickly. So it might have a layout error. Or it might have been built funny. And I got pretty brazen and soldered the LED right on top, so I can't look underneath to see if there's a solder bridge or something. Which there might be. So first thing I'm going to do is desolder the LEDs and take a look underneath. Could be that I soldered the wrong chip. It requires a 541, which is just a buffer. I might have put an octal latch, I don't know, maybe. Or, like I said, there might just be something wrong. So, first thing is let's remove the LEDs, look underneath, see if I find anything. Alright. I desoldered. Where did I put it? Oh no. I desoldered the LEDs from the program counter, and I set it down here, and now I can't find it, but trust me, I did that. And found there was nothing wrong. And then it dawned on me what I had done. And I was sick to think that that's what I did, but what I've done is I had the program counter, remember, in, can you see that? Move it up a bit. I had it in this way, and it was backwards. So I had to relay out the PC board, and the board ended up being easier to lay out like this. So I had a connector here and a connector here. I have LEDs in them right now. I used to use this connector, and now I've swapped it around. I'm using this connector. Now some of the connectors were being used for electricity and signaling, and some of the connectors were being used just for, I'll show you here, this one is just a this one is just for mechanical reasons. There's a little rubber bumper here, and when I put the board in, it just sits on that connector. So it's just a mechanical stop. And so this one was being used as a mechanical stop. And these had all been soldered in, but the mechanical stop I only soldered in the two edges. And we can see that if I assert the bus with some pattern on the LEDs here, you can see the pattern goes onto the bus. But if I look up here, where I'm actually using it, you can see that it got asserted here, but it didn't get asserted there. That's because these are not soldered in. Dope! Oh man, that's terrible. And the only way to solder them is to tear the whole thing apart and turn it upside down and go in and solder them. So that's what I have to do. What a stupid mistake. Maybe while I'm there I'll solder everything in. A lot of the mechanical connectors I just kind of tacked in. Maybe that's not such a smart thing. Maybe you should always solder all 10 pins. Anyway, that's the error. The PC board ended up being fine. Oh, here it is. This PC board ended up being just fine. I can put my LEDs back on it. And like I said, it goes in. The old one went in this way, And the new one goes in this way, so I use the bottom connector on this one, I use the top connector on that one, and the top connector is not soldered. Dope. Alright, about 6 of the connectors were only soldered on the two ends, so I've soldered everything down, all 10 pins, and I put the new program counter back in. And if I put the counters in here without any solder, so I can kind of jam them in here to make them work. I'll solder them. I wanted to make sure everything was okay before I soldered everything down. So it is counting correctly the right way. And we are asserting the bus, and we are getting a count over here, although the count is funny. So there is some other issue. If we take a look at the tens column here, it's going counting just fine. 7, 8, 9, A, B. It'll go all around to F and reset. There we go. But over here we're counting not by ones, we're counting by fours, I think. So I think there are multiple pulses happening. I need to figure out why. I saw it on the oscilloscope when I was looking at the bus, so I don't think it's my board. I think there's something else funny going on, so I need to sort that out. But anyway, one thing at a time. I'm hoping that me making mistakes gives you guys you know, hope that you know, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to wade through it. And every time you make a mistake, you're learning something, right? Oh, geez. I mean, sometimes you're just stupid, but you learn and you just keep going. So don't be afraid to fail. And with PC boards and parts being so cheap, who cares if you throw them away, right? My old program counter is worthless, but you know, what did I spend on it? You know, maybe $1. So it's not, you know, it's no big problem. So keep at it. So, and I will keep at it. I will try to figure out why this thing isn't counting by ones, and it's counting by strange amounts. So there's probably some bits stuck together or something along those lines. So let me sort that out and go from there.